Was born in 83, but my shit is timeless. I flow like the Nile, you need the Heimlich. Because you choke, you're a joke, and your raps are mindless. You say you've got beef, but I only eat vaginas. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast. My name is Harley Neville.
And I am Guy Pigden. Well, when was the last time you ate a vagina, Harley?
I eat vaginas like you for breakfast. Most days.
Most days and sometimes on the weekends.
So welcome along to the show. First one back in 2 months or so. We'll never leave you. We'll never leave you. We might become a little intermittent. We might become a little unreliable and distant. But we'll always come back for you. We will. We'll always come back for the Sifty 150 listeners who have been baying for blood. Our Sifty 150 listeners have been baying for blood lately.
Yeah.
I can't even count how many messages I've had from them just asking where the show is.
You can't count them because there wasn't any?
Well,
You can't even count them.
you literally cannot count them.
You can't count those.
You literally cannot count them. I do have a couple of Sifty 150 listeners to shout out to. Mm-hmm. I did want to shout out to Shane Simpson.
Yeah.
Shane Simpson, he said that he really struggles to sleep when he is in silence. So what he likes to do is he likes to turn on the Guy and Harley podcast. Boom, straight to sleep. That's
Like
it.
a light.
Like a light.
Like a light.
It goes like this.
Like a light.
It goes, welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast. My name's Harley Neal.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so shout out to Shane. Shout out to Jason P. Diddy Combs as well. I know he's going to tune in. Bernie Rao, he said he was going to tune in. So Sam Wheeler, anybody else out there? Sound off in the comments, team.
Well, shout out
In the chat.
to Rob Eden, who is in what's the time? Nah, he actually probably not even there. I was going to say he's at the gym on the treadmill right now. And I'm not there joining him.
Yeah,
because I'm doing this podcast.
It's got an obligation to the Sifty 150.
But actually, he's probably hasn't arrived. He's probably still at work.
Is he going to tune in?
He's actually no reason to believe he'll tune in right this second, particularly to listen in live. But he could.
Shout out to Rob.
He may see that notification. Shout out to Will, who may be listening to this on his drive home. I feel like that is plausible. So shout out to all of our listeners.
Yeah. Well, mate, there is much to talk about. Mm-hmm. So much to talk about. Mm-hmm, so this is a filmmaking podcast.
It's a podcast about our lives.
And we recently, in the previous episode, announced that we had received funding alongside our dear friend and collaborator, Imi, to shoot a new short film called The Long Track, a found footage horror akin to the Blair Witch Project, but much more contemporary, cutting edge.
I thought you were saying much more scary.
And scary too.
Way scarier.
Way scarier. And so we're pretty excited about that. And things are all coming together. We've just offered contracts to the cast. They have said they're keen. And so that's progressing nicely. We've got locations. We've got prosthetics are in motion. We've got the crew mostly put together. So it's all coming together. It's all coming together nicely. So what could possibly go wrong?
Well, yeah, I mean, we still have a little... man, this really makes me look fat.
That fat on
like
your
look at this
waist.
back fat.
That back
I'm
fat.
really not happy with this.
That back fat
This
does
really-
make you look quite fat, guy.
This is really not acceptable. I've made a horrible mistake with this hoodie. I look like a real chunky motherfucker with
Guy,
this one.
we've been through this. It happens to me sometimes on this show too. It's because you're on the edge of the lens. It's just because you're on the edge of the lens.
So this lens is a wide angle lens. It does distort your view towards the edges, and that really accounts for this situation here.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyler Adams. Shout out Tyler Adams on the live stream too.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to look at like people commenting and stuff. Like,
Wow.
it's really I'm really struggling actually. I'm gonna have to give up on my iPad. I can't work my iPad. The iPad is too much for me.
I used to be it, but then they changed what it was. Yeah, well, if I was you, I'd just log into Restream and then go and look at the chat tab. And then all of the comments from all of the different platforms will be there. By the way, I wanted to mention that we are on a new platform now, Kick. Apparently the kids are talking about this Kick.
Kicking threads.
Kick. So this news, we're streaming right now on Kick. No viewers currently,
Good.
literally 0. But if anybody's on Kick, make sure you go and search for Pigville Productions. Boo. Yeah, not great. Not a great start.
I'm gonna try and see the chat in our on the old. Here we go.
All right. Well, while you do that, I will say that. So Shane, 5150 listener Shane Simpson and I went out to a beer and wine expo the other week. He invited me along. It's an invite-only thing for bar owners, and it was his wedding anniversary, and he invited me, not his wife.
Well, yeah, well, as you do, because the thing is, you've seen your wife
All
in
day.
that whole time
Yes.
leading up to the anniversary.
This anniversary.
So you really want to feel like you want to celebrate it with someone else.
Someone else, exactly.
It makes perfect sense to me.
Me too. This anniversary, if you really think about it, is like if you've been together for that long, it's kind of you due a break if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
How many years?
Thanks, Shane. Well, I was at their wedding. You
Must
were at
be,
their wedding too.
well, that's
Maybe
what I was
5
trying-
years.
I think
or,
it must be 5 years.
or a bit more. Probably more, to be honest.
No, it must be 5-year anniversary.
No, well, I went with
2016.
We went. Well, yeah, okay, all right. So, anyway,
Okay, that's
I
way
went
more
along.
than 5 years. That's more
That's,
than 5 years. That's
7 years.
7 years. Okay.
So I went along, and that was bloody good fun. And basically, it's an expo where you walk around pretending you're a bar owner, and you talk to all of these alcohol salespeople, and they've all got samples, and you sit there and. Oh, that's a spam comment. And you sit on Twitch, and you sit there and try a whole bunch of different booze, which was really good. And I met the owner or the manager of Stone's Green Ginger Wine, which is a delicacy that I love. I'm a long-time favorite of mine.
It's fucking terrible.
It's delicious. I've loved it for 20 years. And it's beautiful in winter. Or you can put it with beer, you can put it with whiskey. It's versatile and delicious. Stone's Green Ginger Wine. Get it up here.
Oh, don't.
And so I asked him about the different percentages of alcohol on the different products they've got and so forth. And he said that the standard Stone's Green Ginger Wine had 14.9% alcohol. This is the manager of the company. And I was like, I believe you'll find, sir, that it's 13.9. So he had gotten it wrong.
You corrected him.
I corrected the manager. Yeah.
I was a little bit distracted right before the end of that because I thought I saw something fall behind you, Harley.
A large cockroach
That's
fall behind
actually
me.
what I was thinking. Which, well, I'm just check the ground. But see, now this is the problem.
Guy's been traumatized by the
think-
cockroach rain
Yeah.
in the studio. There's a cockroach rain, which happens every now and then in here, and they just fall down on you.
Yeah. So here's the thing, and this is another cockroach story.
Okay, if only it was on my shot. I got the motherfucker. He was on my head. There he is.
So
While we were talking about it.
can we? I might see if I can just for the live streamers. We might be able to view this.
Okay.
This evidence if we cut to or the other camera.
Yeah, but then you've got to be able to...
And then I gotta like tip this camera.
Oh, you want to do this? Oh, yeah, we can...
Can we? I'm trying to see if we can. It's just obscured.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Oh, mate, it was on me. It was literally on my neck. It scuttled around on my neck.
So I was right. Oh, I'm
You got to check your focus, mate.
gonna get the focus.
Yeah.
So this shit's real, guys.
You think this is a fucking joke?
Does you think we're telling stories out of school?
We live like this. We fucking live like this.
So that's a really good segue, actually. So let's just reset.
That could not have been more perfect in terms of timing. There we go. Never a dull moment on the Guy and Harley podcast. And for the 5150 listeners listening at home later, I want you to envision that a cockroach fell on my head during the show, and then I screamed girlishly and stomped on it and murdered it. Poor little thing. It was just trying to survive.
Well, why did it have to drop on your head, though?
And why now? Why during the show? Wouldn't it be polite to do it after the show or before the show?
But this is a great transition because literally what just happened right then almost happened exactly the same a couple of days ago. So now we're checking the skies. I think they come through the light socket.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the same in my bathroom. They come out of the light socket and then they rain down upon you as you're nude about to get in the shower.
Because I was trying to nude and masturbating about to get in the shower.
Yeah.
So there's the light sockets have these like holes in them which go up into this roof.
Yeah.
And I think they are, because I was trying to figure out, I was like, where are they coming from? It's surely not through the door or something. And I was like, is there a crack? There's no crack. I'm pretty sure they're coming through these light sockets. So anyway, what happened to Harley? Because this is a studio that I use for like my business. Like literally, this is how I make money. Okay? Like this studio is very important. And incidents like what just happened, the kind of thing that loses you clients.
Yeah, that's the type of thing that doesn't go down well in the professional world.
And look, that's not the first time, and I believe on this podcast I have shared another story where...
wait.
Yeah?
No, sorry, you go. Sorry.
Well, I was in a similar situation where there was a cockroach fell, because as they do, they fall from the sky. No, what if they're walking up there, what does happen? Does gravity just set in on them? Do their sticky pads wear out on their feet?
Mate,
it's weird.
No, I'll tell you what it is. They just get tired like a rock climber. You know, like eventually you get tired because you're still fighting against gravity. It doesn't matter if you're small. Still feeling the effects of gravity, unless you're at atom size and then you're not feeling that gravity.
Well,
so
it was
much.
just weird to me because anyway, so...
These cockroaches are definitely not atom sized.
So anyway, this happened before to a lesser degree, where essentially the cockroach fell next to someone and then crawled around their feet. And I was just, in there, like live switching, and I just saw it like scuttling about, and he was wearing shorts. And I was like, please.
The cockroach?
Yeah, and the guy. And I was like, please, whatever you do, short wearing cockroach, do not climb up onto this guy's leg because he will feel it immediately.
Yeah.
He'll just feel it tickle up his leg, right? And I was like, okay, that's not cool. And I just watched it, and thankfully the cockroach kind of scuttled along to the wall in that incident until the podcast was finished, at which point I sort of kind of tried to usher everyone out of the thing. And but as he was walking out, he just looked down and saw the cockroach on the wall, and I was like, "Oh."
And did he say something?
No,
Or did he
it
just
was kind of like
ignore it?
Yeah, it was like it was like is that a giant fucking cockroach? Look, it is. Is it alive? It is. Huh. And then walk out. Look, that was the look he gave. But but continuing on, that was the close call. But this other one is like, I was filming some sort of green screen stuff in here. This was literally like a day ago or 2 days ago. And again, I was just filming. It's kind of dark because we just have the nice lights on, the soft lights on. And so it's actually quite nice for cockroaches because it's warm, inviting, and low light because they don't like light. So anyway, I was filming this green screen, and there was 2 clients sitting on the couch, like talking and looking at the script. They're having a great old time. And then I just see this massive cockroach, even bigger than the one that we just documented, slowly crawling along the roof towards them. Just ever so slowly crawling. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is, why does it have to be the biggest cockroach? Why couldn't it be at least like a really small, sort of not incredibly scary cockroach right now? But then it kind of just circled around the light where maybe the fan heat was going. And I was like, okay, it's not dropping. It's not letting its sticky legs go. It's just sitting up there, it's not getting tired. And I was like, I feel like we can get through this whole thing with no one looking up apart from me at this giant cockroach on the thing. I can finish the take. They can get through it and we can leave and no one will know. No one will be the wiser. And I was like, okay, I think it's all right. And I just couldn't, I was just looking. I wasn't paying attention to what I was filming. Probably did a terrible job, probably out of focus. Because all I could do is look up at this giant cockroach kind of just circling them right above these 2 people. And I was like, okay, I think it's going to be all right. And then out of my peripheral vision, another giant cockroach, also on the roof, started crawling towards the first cockroach. And I was like, no, not two at once. I was like, what are the odds? How many cockroaches are really in here if I'm seeing 2 giant ones on the roof right now? Like, is there 50 in here? Like, what? And so anyway, and I was like, okay, now what do I do? Because now there's 2 cockroaches. You've just seen one drop on Harley. That's what they do. They stay up for a little while and then they just fall down.
What happens is the heat from my bald head went up and disrupted him.
The moisture hitting the roof.
Hitting the roof.
And so anyway, I was like, what are the odds? Like, surely now we can't get through this because the 2 cockroaches, one of them will fall. You know, what's going on? And then the other big cockroach went over to the first cockroach and kind of just begins, again, kind of circling around this area. I was like, okay, maybe I'll get away with this one. Maybe we'll be totally fine. No one's looking up except me at these 2 giant cockroaches. It'll be fine. They're just, because they're like in the fan, the heat. But then the second cockroach started fucking with the first cockroach and like running into it, and like bumping into it, like trying to attack it. Like
they were either fighting or fucking.
Well, to me, it was like, I think one is like trying to eat the other sort of vibe. You know, much like the cockroach experiment, the sick and twisted Dharma-esque cockroach experiment that you conducted. Yeah. Very Dharma-esque.
In the cockroach trap where I had them eating each other.
Very scary. Yeah. Really didn't like that story.
Go back and listen to the Guy in the Harley podcast if you want to hear that story.
So anyway, as it was like bumping up, I was like, okay, that's it. This charade can't go on any longer because no matter what, if they continue to fight, they will both drop onto the 2 people below them.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, excuse me, guys, hey, so can we just stop it there for a little second? Hey, just if we could just stop it there. If I could just get you to guys go out just for a little second. I just see some bugs. I just want to get rid of a couple of bugs. Because bugs sounds way better than
cockroaches. Yeah.
And bugs
hideous giant cockroaches.
Giant as well. You know, obviously left giant bugs out. So just a couple of bugs. And everyone was kind of like confused, like what? Yeah, and they're looking around. But of course, I didn't look up at that time.
Yeah, to give it away.
To give up the, you know. So essentially they did go out. I got the vacuum. I vacuumed up those cockroaches. But they were, and also suddenly they got super fast when I tried to vacuum them off the roof. Like they were real slow and lethargic, hanging around these people, starting to fight. And then as soon as I bring the vacuum cleaner up, they're scuttling around the roof, and I'm running around with the vacuum cleaner like this, and they're just standing outside. And thankfully I got them, but I was like, shit, I don't think these cockroaches are dead.
Yeah.
But I can't do anything about that right now.
I've got a show.
I'm in the middle of filming these people.
The show must go on.
The show must go on. So I basically put the vacuum cleaner back upstairs. And I was like, well, we'll just worry about that a little bit later. A little bit later came when my girlfriend, my partner, called me and she goes, babe, there's a giant cockroach running around and Zoe is not doing anything.
Like Zoe was going to do anything. I was like,
what do you expect Zoe to do? She's 112 years old. She's not going to stop it. She's not going to bite a cockroach. Yeah. You know, they're too fast for her at this point. And she's like, can you come up? And I was like, no, I'm in the middle of filming. And she's like, okay, cool, gotta go, bye. Basically screaming into the thing. Exactly. The cockroach is going to get me. It's got me. Hang up, right? And so anyway, that was 2 days ago. This is today. This shit's getting too much, man.
Well, Nocturnal on the live stream says that cockroach was bigger than the ones he encounters in his office, and he works from a garden shed.
That's what I'm saying, bro. These are also like essentially we're getting the new generation of cockroach.
Next level, next generation.
Because basically they've been sort of dormant for, I guess, most of winter. And now they're sort of coming back up. They're feeling froggy and they want to crawl out of my fucking lighting sockets and scare people. But I don't know how to solve this problem. We've been talking about this for like 2 years. They just keep coming back.
More bug bombs, mate. More bug bombs.
So anyway, that's my cockroach update. Taking off my fat jacket.
Good news, everybody.
Yep.
Good news. I had an audition.
Yep.
And I landed the ad. I have landed a new role. They just called me yesterday. And I can't talk too much about it, obviously, but in this role, it does pay very well for one day. And all I need to do is humiliate myself on national television by being depressed, shirtless, hairy, fat man, depressed man, bald,
Obviously,
and possibly in blackface. So... So it's the actor's life for me.
Yeah. Also, I took off my fat jacket and somehow I've still got a fat T-shirt on. It's weird.
Hey, take it off. Take that off too.
Hell's going on here?
Well, they asked me if I was comfortable wearing brown contacts and putting on some bronzer to appear browner. And I was like, sure, whatever, bronzer. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, whatever, let's do it. And then a few hours later, I was like, wait a minute.
Well,
I can't do that. It's not allowed.
The beauty of it, well, that transitions into one of the things that I did want to talk about. But that's great. Congratulations. That's awesome news. It's also the best kind of ad because it's the ad where you literally have to pull funny faces.
Yeah, no dialogue.
No dialogue. No stress.
Yep. Show up. Do what they tell me to do. Just do what I did in the audition.
Look depressed.
Yeah.
Go home.
Yep.
When's that shoot?
It's either the 28th or 29th of this month. It's TBC, but so about 10 days. I got a wardrobe fitting in next week sometime.
Just make sure that you ask them what camera they're using. You know, I love to know that.
Yeah, I'll be sure to ask them, and I'll ask the makeup artist what kind of Mac she's using, what kind of makeup. No, I'll keep an eye on it. I'll get a few discreet pictures of the camera for you.
There we go.
Send them on through. I did that last time on the last, not the last one, the one before that.
So, also, Tyler Adams on the live stream. I just want to say hello. We haven't shouted it out, but he's been here since the beginning, and
I think I shouted him out.
He said he's been waiting for this moment.
Yes. Well, good. Good to have you back.
So speaking of brownface,
yeah.
Now we love to cover current celebrity culture here. We love to dig into sort of movies and what's going on in the world, and we've got a couple of big topics to tackle, but one of them is much similar to your brownface situation, is that Bradley Cooper of Guardians of the Galaxy fame, and what's that one where he takes that pill that makes him really smart?
Oh, that was a good movie.
And
was
The
it him, was
Hangover,
it?
yeah. But also I think he won an Oscar or something for that
Oh,
movie.
wait, mate. What, wasn't he on Interstellar?
No, that's Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, not Interstellar. Sorry, Passengers. No, that wasn't him
No,
either.
that was Chris Pratt.
That was Chris Pratt. Sorry, all these handsome
Born.
white men with full heads of hair getting mixed up. They all look the same to me.
A Star is Born is the film that he directed and starred in and won an Oscar for, I believe. And anyway, he's in this new biopic of some composer, right, who's Jewish and had a big nose. And so subsequently, for the role, he put on a prosthetic nose. Mm-hmm. And people have accused him of having Jew face.
Right, yeah. Doing a caricature of a Jew.
And basically people have... The outrage police is here, and they're very upset.
Yeah.
And it's very fucking strange to me because essentially this is an actor playing a real-life person
who had a big nose,
who has taken steps to make himself look more like the person that he is playing. Also, just with apparently the permission of the family, so he was like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Obviously, I want to look more like him, so I'm going to have, my nose is going to be bigger. And they're like, cool, that makes sense because his nose was bigger.
Yeah.
And you are playing him, the guy with the big nose. And people have flipped and lost their fucking shit over it. And where do you stand on this, Harley?
Oh, I stand on the side of common sense, as I always do, which is that if he's playing a character with a bigger nose, you're going to make him look more like that character. And if you say that's making him look more Jewish, then you are the racist one.
Well, there you go. Flipped it on him.
Right?
Damn.
Yeah, nobody said that it's anything to do with
on him.
nose sizes and Jews, right? You're the one saying it.
Yeah, you're
He's
the one.
just making himself physically look like the person who he's supposed to physically look like.
Damn, some truth bombs being dropped here on the Guy and Harley podcast.
That's what we do on this show.
Yeah, so look, I'm with you.
I liked him in the Midnight Meat Train.
Oh my God, that's such a deep cut.
Yeah. Well, that movie wasn't as sexy as I was expecting, to be honest. Meat Train was a little disappointing.
You wanted to get on this Midnight Meat Train.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's stupid. It's about time to cancel culture.
Oh, we've got to cancel culture. That's a line from one of my poems.
Yeah,
That's a literal line from one of my poems.
Well, it's about time because this shit's just getting silly, and it's also like, man, I think we've got worse things to get upset about than a fucking actor. Like, you know, have we forgotten Robin Williams and Mrs. Doubtfire? We all gonna fucking shit on that now.
Yeah.
This national treasure, doing a silly voice and dressing up like a woman. I mean, come on, like it's just.
What about Tropic Thunder? He put that to bed. He put that to bed. That whole thing. He put it to bed.
Yeah, some people would argue he did not put it to bed, but I do think it's kind of crazy how we're getting into now, like, you know, oh, you can't write from the, you can't write a character who's this because you're not that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, I guess I can only write 40-year-old white straight males then for the rest of my fucking life.
That's it, mate. That's all you can write. You can only tell 40-year-old or white male stories.
Yeah. Let's not forget privileged.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the sort of narrative going around, and I hope that silliness stops soon.
Well, the trick is to stop paying attention to all of that nonsense.
Well, to be honest, I literally...
It's just some Twitter people. You know what I mean? It's just a bunch of virgins on Twitter getting upset about
I read
stuff.
one headline and clicked on the link.
And then you're like, that's it, my research for the show is finished.
Then I was like, oh, this is a great topic for the show. Let's do a deep dive.
Yeah.
The other sort of topic within, obviously, the Hollywood realm currently is the SAG-AFTRA actors and the Writers Guild ongoing strike, which continues. And actually, this is probably something we should do a slightly deeper dive on. But basically, for those that are not aware, both the Actors Guild and the Writers Guild have, I should probably put, it is on mute. Interesting. No, it's not. Have both striked over negotiations with the sort of the production or streaming companies, HBO, Warner's, blah, 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 over a new agreement. So the old agreement has ended, a new agreement must be reached, and people are striking because essentially both the sort of first the Writers Guild and then also the Actors Guild were kind of like, cool, what we'd really love is to be paid more, for the minimums to be different, for the distribution of royalties because they've changed due to the sort of like nature of no true television, like television not existing and therefore revenue being much more streaming based. We need to create a new model that has some type of compensation similar to royalties. Also, we want to say that you can't just use AI to kind of rewrite us and stuff like that. That's not cool. And you can't, for example, again, this sort of one of the most famous examples was they're like, they were going to get extras and they were going to scan their likeness, pay them like, I don't know, a few $100 for the day, and then be like, thanks, we own your likeness in perpetuity and we will generate that at will for extras and backgrounds. So yeah, that was obviously a point of contention. And also the other thing, which I think is in some ways an even bigger and maybe the biggest issue, is people wanted to be able to see reporting on the success of their things streaming. So basically, at the moment, Netflix doesn't really release all of these places.
You don't know how many people watched it.
When people go, was it successful? So when Amazon tells you your Amazon show wasn't successful, They don't do a breakdown and tell you how many people streamed it and
how they
whatever
define
stuff.
that.
And a lot of people both want to know who's watching, those metrics, the demographics.
Mate, that's proprietary data. That's very valuable. They're not going to give that away.
Well, they weren't. They may be, their hand may be forced ultimately.
Right. Yeah.
Because, they certainly didn't want to come to the table on that one. And I think that's the biggest
It's the new
one,
oil, digital oil, they call it.
Yeah, because, the big thing is like, look, if Netflix tells me my thing shit the bed,
yeah,
but that's all I know, I don't know anything.
Just walk away, a failure.
And if they go, hey, it shit the bed relative to Stranger Things, but actually, millions of people streamed it.
Yeah.
It's just relative to its budget. It wasn't good. You go, okay. Or they go, no, really, no one watched it.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, I need to change.
I'll work on that.
Yeah, I need to change what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But because it's all a mystery, it's a huge hit. Well, what is a huge hit to you guys? Well, we can't really say to you how much, but just trust us when we say it was a big hit. And so if none of this stuff can be measured, then also success and compensation can also not be measured. And obviously that's the way they want to keep it.
And therein lies the game.
Yeah. So, this is the last writers' strike was in 2007, I believe, or 2008. So it's actually quite a long time ago, although that doesn't seem like a long time to us. But it was a long time ago, and it sort of kind of birthed reality television. Well, that's what they say now. It was a sort of a zeitgeist for the birth of reality television when everyone was on strike. But obviously, people unstriked and everyone sort of went back to work. And ultimately, that will happen. But these strikes now have been very ongoing, and there's a whole lot of people out of work, not able to work, a whole bunch of production shut down, including productions over here in New Zealand.
It's been bloody good news for you and me, mate, because
I was getting
November,
to that. I was getting to that.
Everyone's available.
I was getting to that. But also more so we live in New Zealand. We're not really affected by the strikes, like as in the productions we make over here are not affected by the strikes with full New Zealand crews and teams.
Yeah.
However,
but things like Minecraft,
things that are made from overseas, so a lot of international productions do shoot over here, all of those are affected.
Which affects the local crews.
Which becomes a huge problem.
Which means that we've got all the actors and crew in New Zealand to choose from for our film.
Well, it also means that in theory, and I saw a post by a friend of ours on Facebook, and he's like, it's gotten so quiet over there that I'm beginning to get inquiries from over there about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool,
Yeah.
Because like ultimately for us, and I want them to resolve this, all of these things are really important. The problem, I think, is sometimes the problem that like many people on a production have. The problem being that there is way less money than everyone thinks. And so there's, and by that I mean, I guess the margin of profit on all of these things. And they were actually talking about this, how the sort of the digital streaming bubble has burst, how the costs of running these streaming networks are actually very prohibitive unless you don't essentially run them like TV, where you have ads break up like 3 or 4 bits of the thing. And how, what they've been doing is kind of measuring success based on subscribers and their share value rather than whether these streaming shows and movies have been profitable relative to their budgets. So they're kind of driving these things up, their stock prices, the perception, the subscriptions, because subscriptions drive that. And so they go, cool, we're valued at this, so we're profitable, everything's good. But actually, this thing cost $100 million and it did not make $100 million. We're not, whereas, we used to base it just on those metrics. And so everything's become skewed. Anyway, what I think is that, it actually, we're sort of coming back full circle in the sense that it's like, yeah, here's the problem. And this was a problem in 1999 with piracy. This is a problem when Netflix began. This has been a problem throughout the thing, is like movies and TV series cost money to make. There is no way around that. And they cost a lot of money to make. Therefore, the only way they are viable is if they make that money back. And we have all gone, nah, but I want a whole lot, I want every film in the world now, because you gave that to me.
Everything for free right now.
You gave that to me for $14 a month.
Yeah.
As opposed to $14 per purchase per thing. And so we now, and we may have to go back, but like people are like, I don't want to go back, obviously.
Well, what do you think is going to happen though? Do you think, because there's two options, right? We either go back or the budgets of films get drastically cut, which creates hopefully a lot of ingenuity within the industry. And we still make great movies, but obviously it's disruptive.
Filmmakers.
And then you and me, we're what's called these people are new poor. We're what's known as old poor.
Yeah, that's right. It's true. It's true.
So we're not panicking.
We're
not panicking at all.
We're not panicking. We're very calm. And that's the thing. I think there's an interesting. So I think, the bottom is kind of falling out, because the reason that I think a lot of these, HBO and all are not coming to the table is they're like, if we actually truly report on a lot of this stuff, you're going to see that we're basically losing money hand over fist with like 90% of our shit.
Then everybody takes their money out of the stock, and there's a big crash, and there's a big problem.
As the stock master Harley knows.
Unfortunately, I'm not exposed to any streaming platforms as far as I'm aware.
Right. So what I think is it's going to be a combination of things. I do think that budgets for both movies and TV series do have to go down just because of the economic reality, just like, like Kiss can have a world tour with like, that costs X amount because they're going to gross X amount per thing.
They're a great band.
But
I actually saw them once.
Legacy acts.
Yeah.
But like the new person who hasn't had 40 years of, or 30 years of people knowing who they are, can't have that big, massive production. He's got to go to the, do the circuit with the poor man thing. And there's got to be poor man films, essentially, where the budgets are way reduced and we're, looking at things that are more, and everyone takes a hit. The other thing is there is, which was outlined, is this disparity between the A-list cast and the B-list cast. So all the supporting cast and all the guest cast and all that are kind of paid, and all these streaming things are paid like fuck all, like really fuck all. But, then the A-list will get like 100K per episode. And I do think that actually what has to happen, and some fucking A-list ain't gonna like this, but essentially they're gonna have to go, cool, actually I only get 50K now, and these people instead get 15, or something like that, rather than I get 100K or I get 200K or I get $500,000, because that is in part what is making some of these shows not sustainable. So I think it's like a combination. We're going to have ads. This is my prediction. This is Guy's prediction for the future. This is 2023, so I predict this all by 2026. Okay? So 2026 predictions for film. TV and film will go down, like financially. Like as in the costs will all be slashed. Obviously, well, that's my main prediction. But also the other the other prediction is that
Good.
That was cool, wasn't it? No, and also that everything will go back to an ad model. So so Netflix, everything that we watch.
Well, what do you mean? There'll just be an ad break. It's just like you watch Netflix, and then the ad break comes on, and you go to the toilet, and you go put a cup of tea on, and then and then someone goes, "All right, the ads are finished."
That's exactly it.
Get back in here, and you're like, "Oh shit!"
And we're also sitting there going, I can't skip the ad. Mom, this ad is unskippable. What the fuck? I thought we paid for premium.
You go,
fuck, Mom?
We did, son.
We did pay for
premium.
This is premium now. Oh, this is shit.
Get used to it.
This is bullshit, Mom. I'm going to my room.
Every empire reaches a peak at a certain point, and from then it's downhill. It's just steadily downhill, like the Romans. It happened with the Romans.
Yep.
It's happened with us now. We reached the peak at streaming, free streaming of anything we want. Oh, not free, but cheap streaming.
Yep.
And then now it's all downhill from here.
So subscription prices are going to go up. Ads are going to be incorporated into almost everything. And TV and movies are going to get cheaper.
Well, you know what I'm going to do?
2026, mark it down.
I'm going to keep on not watching movies and not affecting my life. So That's how I'll handle it. I watch things occasionally. I can't remember the last time I went to the cinema. No, actually, no. I went for a local film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm supporting a local film. Shout out to Sean Freeman on the live stream from the Zombie, I think it's called the Zombie Cast podcast.
Yep.
Forgive me if I got that wrong, Sean. But shout out to Sean. I was a guest on that show many moons ago for I Survived a Zombie Holocaust. He's tuning in now. He loves the Salvador Dali painting
You
in the
painted
background.
that?
Yeah, I was going to say I painted that.
That was
actually,
a tribute.
Sean. I started that one last summer, and it's actually called My Balls Melting in the Heat.
Yeah.
But it just took me this long to finish it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my one. And that's actually what the clock is all about. The clock is about the time it took for me to finish this painting.
I get you. I get you.
Yeah. I went on a road trip, and the amount of human feces beside our highways is a national disgrace. It's a national disgrace because we pulled over at a rest stop, right, and took the dog for a walk. There was a nice place to go for a walk, sort of this little loop track that passes by a cemetery. And the cemetery was where a bunch of colonial soldiers got killed in the old days by an ambush of Māori warriors, jumped out and killed them while I think they were camping there. And a few of them survived to tell the tale, and the rest of them got slaughtered and buried there. It's a pretty interesting spot. It's actually quite cool. I was like, wow, it's a pretty nice piece of history right here. Anyway, walking with the dog, we do the full loop. We get back to the road, the highway, and the dog is eating something, you know, and I'm like, if he's that interested in it, it can't be good, you know, like if the dog is really that excited about it, it's got to be something bad. So I walk over there, and what do I see and smell? Human feces and toilet paper, which my puppy is chewing on. He's got human feces in his mouth. Whose feces was it? I don't know. What did they look like? Were they disgusting? Were they smelly? You know, who were they? They shit there. Were they holding any viruses? You know, did they have worms?
They're just in a hurry.
Fucking disgusting. Yeah, well, obviously they just couldn't hold on to until the next place, but it's still like, fuck, bro, dig a hole. What's the matter with you? If you've got a shit beside the road, at least dig a hole, cover it in something. My dog's eating your shit, motherfucker. So I'm very unhappy about that.
Take it up with the government.
Well, you know what happened next was we kept on driving, and we got to a place. I needed to pee, and I was like, hey, why don't you pull over here? So we pulled over. I opened my door. I looked down, and I shit you not, sitting right there was a human shit.
Yeah.
A human shit, which I almost put my foot in. And so I was like, can you drive forward a few more meters? And I drove forward a few more meters. And so as I stood there urinating on the ground, I thought, people are disgusting.
As you sat there pissing into the wind.
Yeah. People are disgusting.
Yeah, well, look, if it's not human shit, it's cockroaches, guys. So we've had a tough time recently.
You, like, I know you're not, but is there any chance that you just happen to be ISO recording on that camera during this stream? Because if there is a shot of that cockroach falling on the back of my head and running around up there, well, I don't even notice, and it's all, and then that is viral gold.
Yeah,
it must have fallen down and landed on my
back,
chair back, or my back, and I didn't notice. Yeah. And then it scuttled up here on the side of my neck,
and that's when you were triggered.
And that's when I was triggered. That's when I noticed it. Because even though you had warned me.
Yeah, well, because that's the thing is, so I was looking at this camera. No, I'm not.
You're not ISO recording.
Sadly,
it might be in the two shot though. Imagine if it's in the two shot. We might be able to catch it.
That's true. That's true.
It could just you go. That's.
We're gonna play this back.
Yeah,
we're gonna do some. So yeah, so I saw it drop out of the corner of my eye, and then I was like, I'm just paranoid because I could see, and obviously we looked down, it wasn't there.
Not there.
It's because it was on your head.
It's because it was running.
But it was
around.
on you at the back of your head.
It was on the crown of my hairline, just running circles on the crown of my hairline, completely lost. Until I noticed him.
I've had it with these assholes. Trying to run a business here.
I had an audition for New Zealand's best soap opera.
Oh, yeah.
The primetime show, Shortland Street.
Can we tell the story about your other audition yet for that one?
This is the one I'm talking about, yeah. Well, I think this is the one I'm talking about, which is that I was asked to audition, right? So this was, I was asked to, I was already on,
are we talking about?
I was already on the short list.
Yeah.
I was on the short list for this one,
yeah. You'd be,
right?
They selected you and put you on a short list of actors
they saw
who
this
fit
role.
this profile.
They saw this role and they were like, okay, Harley Neville.
Yeah.
This is a Harley Neville role. Absolutely.
This is
Get him in here.
This is a Harley Neville special right here.
Get him in here.
This is a Harley Neville special right here.
And so the role was of a man who comes into the hospital. Now, this storyline has already run, so we can talk about it. So the story has already run. But the story is he comes into the hospital. He's a photographer. He's friends with the most beautiful female character on the show, who's kind of the sex bomb type character. He knows her from her modeling days. They've had a bunch of adventures together. And then there's some new interns, surgery interns, and he's had a head injury, but people don't believe it. I might be mixing roles up, but people don't believe him. And he ends up inappropriately touching one of the interns while masturbating under the blanket and looking her right in the eye, and it traumatizes her and she runs away, and then she makes a mistake on his brain surgery.
Because of the masturbation incident.
Well, because she was trying to be vindictive, but because she was so traumatized by him masturbating and looking at her. Yeah. So that was I was on the short list for this. It was the Shortland Street Stroker.
You were handpicked to be the Shortland Street Stroker.
I was handpicked to be the Shortland Street Stroker. Yeah. And so I was obviously sort of in two minds about it, because on the one hand I was like, hey, look, this is my big break. I'm on Shortland Street. Finally, I'm on the show. I'm an actor. I've been trying.
I've done it.
Any actor in New Zealand, if you haven't been on Shortland Street, you haven't made it.
You're nothing.
You're nothing.
You're a piece of shit.
There's very few New Zealand actors who didn't pass through Shortland Street.
You're a piece of human shit that Harley encounters as dog eating on the side of the road, basically, if you haven't got on Shortland Street.
Exactly, and that's me. That's me. So I was like, this is it, my big break. Plus, I was like, okay, look, sure, the role is distasteful. And sure, there is absolutely no way to redeem that character, and he will never, ever come back. And they will never, ever be able to use me as an actor as a different role. Sometimes Shortland Street does that. They'll recycle an actor, but you've got to wait like 3 or 4 years or something like that. And then they'll bring you back as a totally new character, and, nobody notices. Yeah. Right? But with the Shortland Street Stroker, they can't have me coming back, because obviously someone will cut it together. They'll cut to my new character, who's Friendly Bob, and then they'll come back to the Shortland Street Stroker from 4 years ago, stroking one out under the blanket. And so obviously I can't, I'm never going to come back. It's like a dead end role. It's the most dead end of dead end roles. A sex offender. A friggin' sex offender.
And speaking of SAG-AFTRA, I mean, I'm sure the pay is not going to be amazing for that.
Oh, that's the thing too. I don't, I think it's all right.
We're not talking ad money here.
I think, no, it's not ad money. It might be our short film money.
Yeah,
I think it's approximately our short film money.
Exactly. Not great.
So anyway, I was in two minds about it, because I said obviously I'll do it, but I was like, well, if I get this, it could go viral in a good way, like it could be a funny gif, it's a funny gif. They go, hi, I'm in the hospital, and then it gets to me like,
sure.
Could be funny. Might be my big break, but ultimately I didn't get it.
Yeah.
And I did breathe a slight sigh of relief.
Did you? I want to see did you see the guy that they cast as the Stroker?
I only got a very brief glimpse. I was at work. The audio was off. There was a TV up on the other side of the room, and I looked up and I was like, that to me seems like the Shortland Street Stroker storyline. Yeah. But I couldn't even be certain of that.
Right.
But just based off what I could see, it was like, okay, here's the intern and here's this dude. It looks like it's probably that story. But then I did get another audition for a much better role, much more suited to me, much juicier, filming right through until the end of the year.
This is the one that you told me that you...
I fucking nailed it.
You told me that you...
I fucking smashed it.
You told me that you basically announced that you'd been cast prior to being cast. You were like, I've been cast. I've done
it. This is it. That was the one.
That's
my Shortland Street role.
Here I am.
This one was in person. The other ones were all like, Zoom, remote ones.
Yeah. You were stroking.
Oh yeah, off screen.
Off screen.
Yeah.
And of course, naturally, because you are a method actor,
obviously,
this is the perfect opportunity to employ that.
Yeah. That is what happened. No, that's literally what happened. That is what happened. So this next role, I went in, absolutely smashed the audition. I was like, this is it. This is it. I've finally made it. Did not get it. Did not get that one either.
Yeah.
So I am still the piece of shit that your dog eats on the side of a New Zealand highway.
Nocturnal says the role went to some other wanker.
Boom. Cha! It's true. No,
Good
it did.
stuff.
Yeah. Cal Robb on the live stream. Shout out to Cal. We used to go to Polytech together. She says, if Cliff Curtis can recover from being Uncle Bully, you can recover from being the Shortland Street Stroker. Thank you. I appreciate the encouragement. It's true. It's true. I mean, Uncle Bully was quite a devastating sort of, difficult role.
Character piece.
Yeah, and very famous, iconic, at least in New Zealand.
Yeah.
But yeah, very good point. Good point.
Give Uncle Bully a kiss, eh?
Oh, dear. So when we recently were holding auditions for The Long Track, our upcoming short film, and I was contacting a bunch of the agents about it, and one of the agents was like, okay, yeah, cool. Listen, we've got kind of the sort of the trimmed down service that we offer for these like low budget short films, like what we do is we just forward your email to the actors. We don't get in the middle. We don't do our job as an agent, and we just forward it along, and that's fine. So with these low budget short films, thank you for that information. I'm just going to forward it along and leave it to you.
We're literally going to not do our job on this one.
And I was like,
this is how we handle these jobs, is by not doing our job.
Them.
Yeah, we like to not do our job for our clients who might be interested in this. We prefer not to do that.
Yeah, that's our policy.
That is our policy going forward. Thank you.
Yeah, so their policy for how they handle low budget short films. And I thought to myself, I never said it was low budget. I friggin' didn't. I didn't say it could be $1 million short film. I didn't tell them the budget. I wasn't like, hello, here's the budget for this film. They just assumed. They just Googled me and assumed.
Yeah, which is even worse, right? It's even worse to be like, this is probably some piece of shit Pigville thing. We don't want anything to do with it. Rather than actually be like, okay, cool, like tell us more.
Yeah, let's hear about it.
Before we employ our no doing work policy. I was so disappointed when I heard that story, because I was just like, man, like, actors don't fucking think like that. Like, especially like, this is New Zealand. There isn't enough work to go around. Opportunities are few and far between, even for people that are successful. We're not even talking about the people on the side of the road here. And
the pieces of shit on the side of the road.
Yeah. And so the idea that essentially you'd be like, look, my 10 or 20% I take is too little for me, so fuck you. To the people you represent. Oh man, that's shithouse.
Yeah, well, none of the actors from that agency got cast, so hey, they didn't make money as a result of their technique.
Yeah, it's but a very
policy,
very disappointed and very narrow-minded, because also like obviously like that's the other thing about New Zealand industry is like it's so small. People have long ass fucking memories. And so, our first port of call when we have a $5 million production isn't to go to them now.
No.
It's to be like, fuck, let's go to the people that took care of us when we didn't have $5 million. Let's talk to the people that treated us respectfully and sort of like took the project
like
on
any other job
on its own merits.
Any other job.
And let's, speak to them first. We don't need so it's like it's bad business long term, it's bad business short term, and it's bad for your actors. And the proof will be in the pudding. So I look forward to naming and shaming when we're successful enough to do that.
All right, only if we're successful enough.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Then,
until then, it's
no mention of it.
Yeah, until then, it's
who they are.
casting couch swept under the rug.
All right, well, I've got to go to work very soon. So despite the fact that I am having a great time.
A ball.
Having a ball. we need to do begin to start wrapping this up. But I did want to talk about something else, which was that a film that I produced beginning of last year, Dubai, went into a festival. It was nominated for Best Student Film.
Yeah.
And I thought we had a pretty good chance.
Yeah, that's right.
A pretty good
You're going to fume at
chance.
this one now. Okay, yeah.
Because it was a student film.
Yeah.
But it had a $30,000 budget, and the only student involved was the director. Everyone else was
a professional.
Was a professional. Like, I was producing this. I had got a professional crew, professional cast. Everything was professional. It was only the director, really. You know.
So what you're saying is like the deck was stacked the fuck in your favor.
Absolutely.
It was the unfair advantage.
Yeah.
What's the thing they call, like, basically it's that thing like you go in with all your attributes.
Yeah.
And these attributes happen to be the thing that sort of makes you successful.
Yeah.
And like, but you know, other people will have less of those things, and therefore they can never succeed.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have those things.
Yeah.
And so you went in with all those.
Yes, well, I went. It was all stacked in my favor.
Yeah.
I was like announcing it before it had happened. I was like, "Yep, I've got that role. Well, we've won this award.
Yeah.
Absolutely, this is going to be the best student film."
You're planning your speech.
Yeah,
It was like the Shortland Street thing all over again.
exactly.
Yeah.
However, we lost to an animation. I'm not dissing animation. Not dissing animation. Shout out to Sam Wheeler. He's an animator. Lots of animators out there. Very difficult art form.
Sure.
I have a lot of respect for animators. Very respectful of that. It was a 2-minute animation with no dialogue. No dialogue. We're in a film festival, for fuck's sake. There's no dialogue. Okay, there's no dialogue. It's animated.
2.5 minutes.
2 minutes long. Yeah. And I don't want to, cast any shade or devalue that art form. I don't. But our film had actual actors in actual locations doing actual acting because it's an actual fucking film. It's an actual film, for fuck's sake. Okay, and so we did not get it. And this 2-minute animation, and it was like, okay, the animation was fine. It was not a bad film, but it was nothing special. I was not like, wow, I really left blown away by that animation style, and I was just left thinking about the intricacies of the storyline, the nuances. Oh my god, no, nothing. It was a pretty simple story.
Well, it's hard to do anything in 2 minutes.
Well, exactly. There's a few things you can do, and so the short film though was. I got a special mention.
Yeah.
They gave it a special mention.
Your film.
Our film, yes. Yeah. And so the thing is, here's what I think happened. I think they judged the films. They were like, this film is the winner. This is the best student film.
Your one, Dubai.
Our one, Dubai. Yeah. Exactly. And then they were like, but here's the thing. The structure of our festival is that it's only one night. It's basically a one-night awards show. Like, if you get into this festival, they don't play all the films that get accepted. They only play, a few that win, and they've got an awards night ceremony that starts at 7 p.m. and needs to be done by 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. or whatever. So our film was like 17, 18 minutes long, 16 minutes, something like that, right? Whereas the animation, 2 minutes long. And so I think they looked at the schedule and they're like, okay, this is way too friggin' long. And I'm thinking about this because I'm the event manager at a film festival, right? So I understand
the inside lane here.
I do have the inside scoop on how festivals program things a little bit, because you've got to keep in mind like the actual runtime of this evening. You've got people, introductions in between, awards, all that stuff, then the film, then more speeches, blah, 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 blah. You've got to fit it all in without it being a ridiculous 5-hour ceremony. So I reckon they were like, hey, of all of these categories, which is the one we care the least about? Well, probably student film. Well, I tell you what, why don't we just give this the film that actually won? We'll give it a special mention, and then we'll play a 2-minute film to keep the evening on schedule. And everyone was like, hey, makes sense to me.
Conspiracy theorist.
Makes sense to me.
Harley Newell.
Yeah, so very disappointed in that.
Well, look.
Devastating blow to my career.
To be perfectly honest, I agree with you.
Yeah.
In the sense that, there's too much actually just, like, this is what I hate about YouTube, is they go, a cinematic travel film. It's not a fucking travel film, okay? It's not a film.
It's not a film.
It's literally a series of shots put together from your trip that looks nice.
Yeah.
It's not a film. It doesn't tell a story.
I mean, are my wank videos films now? Is everything a fucking film?
It's not,
Has it got a beginning, middle, and end?
Exactly. There's no 3-act structure here, right? There's no character development, right? You know, there's no story, full fucking stop. It's not a film. And so, you know, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Shout out to Valvez BTW on Twitch. He says, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, dude? You're actually catching the end of the show, but thank you for tuning in on Twitch. And Tyler Adams says, woof. I don't know if that's because
I think he's referring to your
rant.
Yeah, as in the unfairness.
The unfairness. Well, Tyler should know that woof is also what a lot of the beer lovers comment on my pictures. You know, like when I'm hairy and I'm showing a bit of chest hair, the beer lovers will comment woof.
And you're making an OnlyFans film.
Yeah, I'm making my OnlyFans, my OnlyFans films.
Yep.
Killing it on OnlyFans, by the way.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm with you 100%, mate. And I'm outraged at the or even people actually say they're filmmakers and they're YouTubers.
Hey guys, filmmaker here.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Yeah, basically.
Get off my lawn.
Basically, I'm just sitting there like, no. Hang on a second. You haven't made any fucking films. You're not a filmmaker. You're a YouTuber. You're a content creator. All of those things are fine to label yourself as, and should not be devalued at all. But you're not a filmmaker.
But I mean, you
don't make movies.
Yeah.
You don't tell stories.
What is a filmmaker?
Beginning, middle, and end. Not always in that order.
True.
But yeah, I don't know. Also, you know, speaking of announcements, so he should probably make a big announcement.
I was wondering if you were going to announce this announcement on the show.
So if we could cut to my close-up for this one, please.
Okay. Oops, that's me. Hi, everybody.
That's not me. So after 24 years of, you know...
no longer being...
Well, 24 years of being sexually active, shall we say.
No longer being a virgin.
24 years of relationships, you know. 24 years of love, romance,
hate,
one-night stands, fallouts, 24 years of love, laughter. I am now officially off the market. And so for all the women out there, and this goes to all my ex-girlfriends, right? All my ex-girlfriends that
listen up, bitches.
That all thought like, you know what? Maybe he was actually quite a good guy. You know what? Yeah, he was annoying, but he had a lot of good traits. You know what? Did I really do the right thing breaking up with him? For all the women out there who are like, I'm kind of into this guy, kind of liking his hobo Wolverine look, kind of like the Greys. Hey, all the women out there are like, yeah, I've got daddy issues, and this guy looks like a dad that I'd like to know a little bit deeper. For all the women out there that are like, guy's funny, he's got aspirations and dreams, he seems to be going places. I'd love to maybe just go out on a date, see what happens, you know, beer, whatever, you know, just a coffee, you know, just see if we spark it off. To all those women that I approached and you were like, nah, sorry, not really my vibe.
I'm not really a hobosexual.
To all of these collective women all over the world, here in New Zealand, online, to all my friends and acquaintances
that want to fuck me,
who maybe ever considered, I just want to let you know, you fucking blew it.
You missed the boat.
You missed it. It's done because I'm engaged.
He is engaged. It's all official. It's all official. He's met the love of his life. He's off the market.
And she, unlike all these other people,
he asked and she said yes.
All these naysayers, all these maybe later. All these, I'm in a better relationship right now. All these, I mean, I want to wait for him to ask me. Mm-hmm. It's over.
Too late, ladies and
You
gentlemen.
lost your chance. You had 24 years to make amends.
To lock him in.
24 years you had. And you just chose not to.
Yep.
And now it's done.
And now it's done. Now you've missed it.
It's over.
Yep. Well, congratulations to
Thank you.
and to your lovely other half, who I'm not sure if you name her on the show or not.
Mana Spielberg.
Mana Spielberg.
Yep. I call her Mana Spielberg. That's not her last name, but she has a lot of thoughts about my work.
Okay.
Likes to tell me.
Okay.
She has a lot of ideas about what I should be filming, what I should be writing, how I should be editing.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of ideas. So Mana Spielberg likes
She's an
to.
ideas man.
She likes to give her opinion.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's why you love her. Well, good. Congratulations. That is very exciting. I look forward to getting an invite to the wedding.
Yep.
In
the backyard.
In the backyard, just here. Next, I'll build the fire. I'll do the fire. We'll make an aisle. We'll part the poo.
Yep.
What we'll do is all the dog poos.
Don't tell.
We'll clear an
don't
aisle
say
of
that.
dog
That's
poos.
the very reason that I can't convince her to do it in the backyard.
Because of the poos?
She's like, the backyard is garbage.
The backyard is awesome. And we will clean up all the poos. And, like our 40th.
Human or otherwise.
Our 40th was great. It was good. It looked nice. Obviously for a wedding, you might, go the extra mile.
Yeah.
A bit more decoration, some rose petals.
Yeah.
Maybe like some sort of carpet down the middle, so you can walk
Red
down
carpet
there.
treatment.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, backyard, totally doable. Backyard wedding. That's where it's at nowadays, I reckon. All right, well, look, sadly, I've got to go to work. I am meant to be there in 27 minutes. If I'm not sitting in that seat in 27 minutes, then the sound will not go on the television. And that's a big problem for that channel.
And they'll have even less reason to be putting on all these new ads in between shows.
Exactly, in which case, I'm out of work as an actor as well.
So it all comes back full circle.
It does. So we will have to get out of here, but thank you so much for watching. Use all the links in the description. They really help us. And we will try and do these slightly more regularly. I reckon we can get in one more before the shoot. Maybe?
Yeah, it's possible.
One more before the shoot. We'll give you one more before the shoot, and then we'll give you one after the shoot, or at least after the first part of the shoot. So we'll keep you all posted and updated. If you want us to come back sooner, definitely hit like and smash that bell button and all that shit down there. Smash the bells, not the notifications, and that will really help us to actually.
We're content creators.
Yeah.
We're not filmmakers. We're content creators here.
We're occasional content creators, actually. All right. Well, on occasional content creators, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Guy and Harley podcast.
See you later.
Ka kite.
You want to